There are countless 4K projectors on the market right now. Some are surprisingly affordable, others cost a fortune, and most ads make them sound all identical. So today I'm comparing a budget-friendly 4K projector versus a premium flagship model to show you what actually matters in real life. Let's inspect. Hi, good to see you and welcome to this detailed comparison. And before we begin, let's quickly establish a few important ground rules. This video will be very practical. I won't go into very deep technical terminology, but I will explain technologies that often matter in real-world usage. Terms like Keystone correction, lens shift, optical zoom, DMD chips and their purpose, gimbal systems. All these sound complicated at first, but once you understand what they actually do, choosing the right projector becomes dramatically easier. Think of this video as a combination between a buyer's guide, educational comparison, and a real-world demonstration. And if you already know a lot about projectors, feel free to jump into the comments and help other people there too. And maybe the timing is also perfect because I'm filming this just before the Football World Cup season. And I remember how incredible it was a few years ago projecting football matches in the yard with the neighbors and the friends. I think a projector changes the atmosphere completely and turns watching content into a more social event. Now, a quick and important disclaimer. The video is sponsored by JMGO, who provide these two reference units for testing and for the demonstrations further. I'm going to leave links to both projectors and their dedicated reviews in the description below. The smaller one, the JMGO N1S, which is what I'd call one of the best beginner-friendly 4K LED projectors, combines strong image quality, ease of use, compact dimensions, and excellent value for money. There are cheaper 1080p options that still make sense, of course, but if your goal is entering the 4K projector world properly, N1S clearly is among the strongest value packages right now. Then we have the N3 Ultimate, which is a premium lifestyle projector designed around convenience, immersion, flexibility, and also pushing specs as much as possible. Here we talk about advanced optics, higher brightness, much higher brightness, better processing, lens shift technology, optical zoom, some AI features, and significantly stronger hardware overall. The idea is simple: maximum image quality with close to zero setup frustrations. And after using both extensively, I can already tell you this, that they are not good versus bad products. They are built with very different priorities in mind. Let's start with something very simple, but surprisingly important in real life: weight and size. The moment you see both projectors side by side, the difference becomes obvious. The N1S is dramatically smaller and more portable, and this matters much more than most people initially think. Because projectors are not always static living room devices. Sometimes you want to move them between rooms, sometimes you want backyard movie nights, sometimes you travel with them, and sometimes you simply don't want a giant object permanently dominating your interior. This is exactly where the N1S becomes very attractive. Feels approachable, easy to carry, easy to reposition, easy to integrate in your everyday life. Lower weight also matters for mounting. The N1S includes a standard 1/4-inch mounting thread, which instantly makes it compatible with huge variety of mounting accessories. Ceiling mounting becomes easier and cheaper too. Meanwhile, the N3 Ultimate is significantly larger and heavier because there is a lot more technology inside. Bigger optics, larger cooling systems, larger speakers, and more advanced projection hardware. This projector feels designed for more permanent or semi-permanent setups. JMGO also strongly recommend using their dedicated stand system with it. So already here, the choice starts becoming clearer. If portability and flexibility matter a lot, N1S gains a major advantage immediately. Now, let's talk about perhaps the single most important projector specification: the brightness. It directly affects daytime usability, the screen size, the flexibility, HDR perception, and the overall viewing comfort. It's one of these biggest differences between cheap projectors and truly good ones. I think both of these perform very well about brightness. Yes, N1S is weaker compared to the N3 Ultimate, but the important context here is that the N1S still delivers brightness levels that compete with many considerably more expensive projectors. That's exactly why it's such a strong value option. You will often hear brands mentioning ANSI lumens or ISO lumens. Both are brightness measurement standards and are relatively comparable in real-world usage, but here's the important part: maximum brightness is not always necessary. In my own setup, the N1S already gives me very comfortable viewing around brightness levels 7 out of 10. Meanwhile, N3 Ultimate often feels comfortable at levels 3 or 4. Having brightness reserves is always useful, especially for daytime viewing or larger projected images, but more brightness also means more heat and higher power consumption. This is something I always test in my reviews, and yes, at maximum brightness, the N3 Ultimate consumes roughly twice more energy than the N1S. It's not a flaw, that's simply the cost of pushing significantly higher brightness outputs. Next, we move into the area where projectors become interesting, especially for the techies: contrast and image depth, because resolution alone means almost nothing if the image lacks depth and dimensionality. This is why two 4K projectors can look completely different in real life. Modern DLP projectors rely on something called DMD technology. Texas Instruments is the company who developed the DMD chip, and it uses millions of microscopic mirrors that rapidly tilt to reflect the light, and they create every individual pixel of the image. Because these mirrors switch extremely fast and precisely, DLP projectors are known for sharp image clarity, smooth motion, strong perceived detail, and excellent reliability. Both projectors here use a 0.47-inch DMD chip, which is very standard for most 4K category. But this is where an important lesson appears. Having the same chip does not automatically mean identical image quality. Because the final image also depends on the optical engine, the lens quality, the brightness capabilities, contrast tuning, color processing, and software optimization. And this is where the N3 Ultimate pulls ahead. It is equipped with newer optical engine generation, better optics overall, higher brightness, and stronger image processing, and these contribute to deeper blacks, stronger HDR perception, and overall more cinematic presentation. Side by side, the difference is visible. The N1S looks very good. The N3 Ultimate, premium and impressive. That's perhaps the simplest way to describe it. Next, let's discuss one of the most misunderstood projector topics: image correction. Most modern projectors today include automatic focus and automatic keystone correction. Focus is straightforward. The projector sharpens the image automatically. Keystone correction is more interesting because it allows the projector to digitally reshape the image if the projector itself is not perfectly centered or leveled. But there's a downside. Keystone correction is digital, meaning that the projector electronically modifies the image. This often introduces something called light spill, this illuminated border around the corrected image which still remains visible. Technically, you also lose a bit of image purity because the projector is digitally scaling and reshaping the picture. This is where the N3 Ultimate introduces something much more advanced: lens shift. Unlike keystone correction, lens shift physically moves the optics themselves, which allows image repositioning without digitally distorting the picture, without sacrificing sharpness, and without introducing light spill. That's why premium home cinema projectors rely heavily on lens shift technology. JMGO combined this together with optical zoom and mechanical gimbal system, and they advertise this as a 3-in-1, and I quote here, perfect projection. Does everybody need this? Not necessarily. If your setup is mostly static and permanently installed, you may be overpaying for features you rarely are going to use. But if flexibility matters to you, I think the N3 Ultimate operates in a completely different league. Now, let's discuss the audio quality, because even an incredible image could feel underwhelming if the sound feels weak and tiny. And here, the larger size of the N3 Ultimate immediately pays off. The N1S sounds good. The N3 Ultimate sounds expensive. The larger speaker chambers and the wider frequency response create fuller sound, stronger bass presence, and significantly more immersive audio overall. As for the fan noise, surprisingly close between both projectors. Before we conclude, let's also discuss gaming performance, because projectors used to be terrible for gaming. Both projectors here run Google TV, and both include dedicated gaming modes. But the N3 Ultimate is dramatically more powerful internally, has significantly more computing power, twice the RAM, faster processing, and extremely low input latency. And once gaming mode is enabled, the responsiveness becomes much better. Racing games feel fantastic, truck simulators feel the same way, casual couch gaming on a massive projected image becomes an experience that TVs struggle to replicate emotionally. FPS games are still not ideal compared to a dedicated gaming monitor, of course, but overall, the gaming experience here is getting close to a monitor in terms of responsiveness, and it's already much more fun about the size. The N1S also supports gaming mode as mentioned, not nearly as advanced, but still absolutely usable and enjoyable for casual gaming sessions. And finally, price. For many people, this becomes the decisive factor. So, which of these projectors actually makes more sense to you? My approach is always very simple. I write down my priorities, rank them, then put down a score for each of the models, and suddenly the answer becomes very obvious. I would choose the N3 Ultimate if I prioritize premium cinematic image quality, higher brightness, especially for daytime viewing, the flexible placement options through lens shift and optical zoom, plus the AI gimbal, the stronger audio, the better gaming performance, and overall the most effortless premium projector experience possible at the price. But I would also recommend the N1S, especially if I'm entering the 4K projector world, also if portability matters, if I want stronger value for money, or if I want the flexibility to move the projector between rooms or use it outdoors for movie nights and for some social gatherings. I like both of them very much, and neither one feels compromised for its category or budget line. The N1S, very intelligently optimized. The N3 Ultimate feels premium. And after seeing them side by side, I think it becomes very obvious that 4K alone means a lot, but it's not everything. Just like cameras, the surrounding technologies matter enormously. Optics, brightness, processing, contrast, placement flexibility, and audio quality. And as mentioned, JMGO sponsored this comparison, so I'm going to leave links to both models below in the description. But sponsorship aside, both are extremely easy to recommend and represent excellent value within their respective categories. For more details and their full reviews, follow the links from the video description. I hope this comparison helped make projector technologies easier to understand. And as always, don't buy tech just because it exists or marketing asks you to. Buy it if it adds value to your life. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.